Hello, America. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my review of Married at First Sight, Season 8, Episode Great. I do have on the same sweater that I had on in my last video, but it's a sweater, so, it's like my husband's sweater, and I just wear it as like a nightgown, so... It is 1 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I usually don't do things like this, but I'm up. I have a quiz tomorrow that I don't know how to study for because I wasn't in class last week because, I had my mental health was fucked up for real. So I had to take a day. And of course I take a day where she probably gave a study guide, but there's nothing online, so what am I to do? I do have a podcast available. It's called the Awkwardly Acceptable Podcast. You can find it. Oh, wow. Yeah. You can find it up here. I also do have some music that you can also find in this location as well. And also, I'm posting a video a day until March 1st, but that is going to be extended until after spring break. So that is, I think spring break is like the 12th from I don't know when spring break is, but I'll put it on the screen right here. But I'm going to be doing videos basically for the whole month of March. Yay, go me. Also, I did my eyebrows, but I messed them up. So now the only way for me to live correctly is if I make up my eyebrows all the time because one of them is way smaller than the other. So let's get started. All of the couples sit down with Dr. Pepper for their 1-month marriage anniversary. Oh my gosh. All of the couples were smiling. They were happy. They were in love. And then we see Kate and Luke as usual. Okay. So she gives them an exercise to rate themselves as a spouse over the course of this month. Stephanie and AJ both give each other 9s. AJ realizes he has a short fuse and a temper, but that Stephanie is always there for him and has helped him through his boo-boo ways. Will and Jasmine both put 7, and Jasmine says that there is room for growth on both sides of the floor. Will says his comfort level has grown with Jasmine, but they still haven't had the sexual relations. Keith and Christine both give themselves 8, and they realize that they both have a lot more things to work on. Now, this is, of course, I don't know. Is Kate and Luke a decoy couple? Like, are they not a real couple? Because nothing can be this bad. I was thinking that things could be this bad, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, nothing can be this bad. This is like some real life. This is bad. I'm very confused. So, Luke gave himself a 7. Oh, my nails. I'm going to do my nails tonight as well. Luke gave himself a 7, while Kate gave herself a, 6.5? And everybody was like, oh. And she was like, everybody is like, oh, Kate, don't feel like that. And she's like, I just think that things aren't going as planned, and this is how I feel. And Luke proceeds to say to her, oh, I didn't know this is how you felt. And she said, yes, you do know how I feel. And he was like, no, you didn't tell me this. And I said, not only is Luke an asshole, a manipulator, passive aggressive, but he's also a bitch. I can't believe that he acted like... I'm in shock. This has to be a a decoy couple, because no one acts like this. Nobody. I just can't. So, okay. So the first people I'm going to talk about, even though we first see Luke and Kate, I'm going to talk about Stephanie and AJ because their relationship is blooming into something very healthy and something very mature, okay? They go, if you hear noise, it is my cat. Okay. She is outside. Well, I'm in the room. She is in the kitchen, living room, dining room area, living her best life, and it's getting on my nerves. But whatever. What can I say, huh? Stephanie and AJ go-kart racing. They also go wine tasting, and they both talk about how they're falling in love with one another. Stephanie gets AJ, I think it was pictures of them at their different locations that they went with each other. You know what I'm trying to say. The pictures that she got for him was them together. AJ got her a bouquet of flowers. The same flowers that he got her for their 1 day wedding anniversary. He took a detailed picture of them and he got them for her so she could, because she wanted to bring them home and obviously she couldn't, so he made it possible. I'm just really happy for Stephanie and AJ because they're not going through dumb shit in their relationship. And that is what makes me the happiest of them all because nobody wants to go through dumb shit in their marriage, right? Moving on, we see Keith. Keith is going to a cooking class. Okay. Now, I know that I've said some bad things about Keith and his low hairline, but I must say that I was pleasantly surprised by this. Keith went to a cooking class. He didn't put that much seasoning on the steak, but okay. And the steak was what, medium, not medium, was like rare, medium rare. There we go. The steak was medium rare, and I mean, if that floats your boat, then I guess that it does. Christine shows up. He has on a nice black button down and a tie. He said he was wearing black because he killed that steak. She said that the food was good. I mean, it did take her about 2 or 3, 4, 5 cuts to get into the steak, which made me a little bit weary. But she said that she liked the steak. She appreciated the effort. He said that he was going to do anything to make his wife happy, and he realized that maybe she needs to come home to a home cooked meal after having a long day at work, and he wants to give her that. So I'm gonna say that Keith I like Keith now. Okay. Yeah, I know it was one episode, but I like Keith. I think that he's he's all right. Okay. Next we see Jasmine and Will. Jasmine and Will go back to the place that they were married. They tour around the gardens. They're talking, reminiscing about the spaces and the places. And they both said that they would get remarried to one another if they had the chance. And then they go downstairs. They're about to eat dinner. Jasmine says, we've been having, such a good time. Maybe tonight is the night that we're going to be intimate with one another. Okay. So she asks him, she's like, so Dr. Pepper had us rate ourselves, but how would you rate me? And at first I was wondering, why didn't Dr. Pepper have them rate each other? But when Jasmine asked this question, I realized why Dr. Pepper didn't have them rate each other. So Will says, well, I'll give you about a 6.8. And she said, a 6.8? That's low as hell. And he says, it's not low. And she's like, it's very low. 6.8 out of 10. He's like, I'm not giving anybody a 10, so it's a 6.8 out of 9. She's like, Will then says in his confessional, which is just the evidence of a grown man. He says, I mean, I could have given her an answer to appease her and make her happy for the night, but we do have some issues that we need to work on, and I'd rather be honest so we can work through those issues. Jasmine said that she would have rated Will a 5. And I'm like, she just mad. She ain't gonna rate that man no damn 5. So he says this is why, and I didn't know that Jasmine was 30 and Will was 37. He was like, you gave yourself a 7, right? A 7 out of 10. She was like, I was being generous. Girl, you wasn't being no damn generous. You were being honest, okay? And he said, but I gave you a 6.8 out of 9, which is zero point 0.2 points off percentage wise. That's not too far off. Anyway, it got Jasmine in her feelings. That was the end of their story. She said they may not, that the sex is off the table tonight. So they're not knocking boots. And it's because she asked a question that she probably wasn't going to get a stellar answer from. So, and I like Jasmine. I still like Jasmine. And I like Will as well. But I'm glad that I mean, I don't know if she's 6.8 or not. She not my wife. And but I damn sure know that he's not a 5. He may be a 6. He may be a 6.8, but he's not a 5. Okay, Jasmine, stop. Stop. Now we move on to the biggest story of them all. This is a very, very, very quick review. I actually might put this out right after I get done. We see Luke and Kate. So Luke and Kate are talking about why she made her score so low. And she says it doesn't feel like an actual marriage. It feels like she says it doesn't feel like an actual marriage, and he is like, I don't understand what you're talking about. She says, look, if I'm not your cup of tea in the physical appearance department, or if I'm not what you thought that you were going to get, then I understand, you just got to chalk it up to life, basically, because I don't really know what you want from me. He sits there and he's looking at her, and she's like, why are you looking at me? Can you talk? And he's like, I don't know what to say. Then he said something, and he said, because you drink. And she was like, you drink too. You threw up at 3 o'clock in the morning and didn't come home last night because you were drunk as hell. Red flag number 3. There's already been 2 other red flags. Well, let's say red flag. Red flag number 2. Kate is just looking at him like, okay, nigga. Now, they had the sad music every single time they went to Kate and Luke's story, which makes me think that they're a decoy couple, because it's like, damn, these people can't have 1 ounce of happiness. No, apparently they can't, because Kate wakes up. She said Luke set his alarm for 8 a.m. in the morning and went off with his friends, and that morning was the 1-month anniversary of their marriage. And Kate is distraught. She goes downstairs. She washes some dishes. She goes upstairs. She sits on the bed. She breaks down. She runs to the bathroom. And at that moment, it's like, girl, call the experts, call the producers, call the governor of Philadelphia, and tell them you out. Okay, you're not gonna do this anymore. You're done. You're done. No, I don't get why Kate is going through this, and I don't get why she just gonna let the 3 weeks. Nah, you have been married for the majority of this experiment, and things haven't changed. What can change in 3 weeks? But Luke comes home. She says, where were you this morning? He's like, oh, I didn't know how we left things. So He didn't bring her flowers. He didn't bring her anything to show that he wanted to make this marriage work. Also, he said, what did he say? He says he doesn't like her bad attitude toward their marriage. And at that moment, he said it to the camera. He didn't say it to her. But at that moment, it was like, is this a joke? Can someone be so unaware with themselves? Can someone be so dense? I guess so. Because that's why he lost his hair. The more and more I'm watching this show, the more I realize why he lost his hair. Because he's doing entirely too much. Okay? And when you do too much and you're problematic, you age rapidly or you lose your hair in the flick of a wrist. Okay? I'm done with this. I thought that this was an hour and a half, but it seemed like this episode was only an hour. So I don't know. I'm very confused. But if you all like this review, you can like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. You can look up all my information that is in the description box below. My name is Brielle. I make beats. I sing songs. If you like what you see, come on along. Bye.